Hi everyone, meteorologist Addison Green here with the latest installment of our Weather Classroom series where we're trying to bring our weather world into your own living room, dining room, kitchen, wherever you happen to be watching us at your home while everyone's trying to ride out the pandemic going on and staying safe, staying home, and staying alert of everything going around you. Now, we're going to dive into today a little bit of the weather forecast itself, how us meteorologists put the forecast together, what tools we look at while we're browsing all the latest information that's out there, because there's a ton of information, and then what we do to put everything together for that 7-day forecast that you classically see at the end of every weather forecast, I should say. So looking out there for the next day, coming on up for tomorrow, we're going to be discussing on Friday space, the final frontier, planets, stars, Earth's final demise. We'll be taking a look at things outside our atmosphere as we go through the day tomorrow. Now let's make our way in towards that 7-day forecast, because you see this at the end of every forecast, or at least a portion of it. Maybe it's a 5-day or 3-day, but here at KHOU, we show you the 7-day forecast. And here we look at what we do have going on for the temperatures, the sky conditions over the next several days, as well as the winds going on across our vicinity. And we get a lot of information getting put into this one graphic right here, but there's a lot of information behind the scenes that gets put into the 7-day forecast. So we're going to touch base on this at the end of the lesson, so to speak, as we go through everything. But first, we're going to dive into the weather forecasting itself and break it down for you and show you what I go through as I get my forecast ready. So we look at various computer models and as well as data packets across the country to get the big picture, because we're all connected in the weather world across the country and across the planet as well. And then we simplify and look at everything down at the surface, down by us. Then we're going to be taking a look at what the National Weather Service is thinking, that's NWS, because those are the trained professionals that are looking at all the information 24/7, getting the latest information out for everyone to look at from weather.gov. Then we take our education, my personal education, combined with our experiences, as well as the data that we just looked at, and that gets you the forecast that we all individually put together for you as we're going across in our entire broadcast, whether it's the morning show, the noon show, or the evening shows, perhaps even the weekend shows as well. So I'm going to go ahead and switch sources for a second to take you over to our computer screen, so that way we can dive into the latest details right here. And let's go ahead and start off with the big map right here. This is coming in from weather.gov. And anybody can go to these websites right here. All these websites I'm going to show you, anybody can go to them and look at all this information. It's free of charge. Anybody can dive into it. So let's go ahead and make our way across the country right here. And the first thing you see is a whole bunch of colors going on. Also, a lot of boxes. Well, each one of those boxes is a county, and those colors represent a weather alert, whether it's an advisory, a watch, or a warning in that various county right there. And we do have the legend down below. Right here in southeastern Texas, we don't have anything going on, but we can see we have some brown right there in Arizona and New Mexico. Those are wind alerts. We do have some kind of maroon shade of color right there in Colorado. Those are red flag warnings, which pertain to dry, windy conditions where we can lead to possibly some brush fires. We do see some purple right there in California. Those are winter weather advisories. They could see some snow in the mountains outside of Los Angeles, believe it or not. And also we do see some green on the map, especially right down this border right here, this dark line. That's the border between, say, Arkansas and Tennessee. That's the Mississippi River. And the green represents flood concerns, whether it's flood advisories, flash flood watches, or flood watches and warnings as well. So we're definitely looking at some possible rise in the creeks right there in the rivers as well. But let's make our way down in towards southeastern Texas. Diving into the National Weather Service office right here in the Houston, Galveston area. And they have all the latest information up top, talking about how we're going to have potentially some record-breaking heat out there for today. And then they also talk about other conditions going on, such as, say, the drought monitor. It's very dry right here in southeastern and southern Texas, so we do need some rain, and we'll talk about more coming on up. But let's get down right here in towards the local map. And this is the vicinity that we look at. This is the area that we look at for our forecast alerts. Right now there are some flood concerns north of Houston, north of the Woodlands, up along the Trinity River right there. let's say out towards the Huntsville area, for instance. That's where we are dealing with a flood warning outside of the Trinity River. So if you're living around the area, just maybe stay a little bit away from the shoreline of the river. But as we look right here in this page, for instance, we can see that we have multiple amounts of information coming on in. You can see the sky conditions, the temperatures right there. It's 83 degrees in Huntsville. Also see the humidity, wind speed, the barometer, which talks about pressure, and that's a very important item that we look at, a very important piece of data that determines if we're going to have a cold front coming on in or high pressures building on in. Do we have storms arriving? Dew points, that's a measure of moisture in the atmosphere. Let me make this bigger for everybody to see. There we go. Dew points is a measure of moisture in the atmosphere. Visibility, how far we can see. That determines if we have some poor visibility concerns, like say patchy fog, dense fog, even heavy rain, that can make that number go down. Heat index, that's how it feels on your exposed skin outside for us dealing with right here in the warmer months, the spring, summer months. We talk about heat index. Get into the winter months, it's a wind chill. But heat index combines the temperature, also talking about the dew point and how it feels on your exposed skin. So it feels about 86 degrees outside when you step outside in the sun. Actual air temperature, 83. And let's go ahead and make our way, I'm trying to make this smaller, there we go. Let's go ahead and make our way in towards the latest conditions going on right here in Harris County, right here in the Houston area. So go up towards Houston Hobby Airport. There's all the latest information for you, and you can go to this website as well. Like I said, weather.gov, go to Houston, and it'll take you right here. But how do they get this information? Where does this information come from? Well, for that, we got to go look at some computer models, got to look at some data. So I go to one of these tabs I have right up here. We're looking at, let me make this bigger. There we are. Okay, so this is a lot of numbers right here. I'm not going to dive completely into it because it's going to take a long time. But pretty much right here, what we're looking at is, let me try and draw on it for you. There we go. NAM-MOS guidance. So North American model is what NAM stands for. MOS data, this determines what we are seeing from those sensors around the country. And they are taking the information that's going on right now and looking at the potential information that's going to be coming our way in terms of temperatures, dew points, how the sky conditions are going to be. So there's a lot of information right here that we can take a look at. Right now, let's look at the temperature. This is a high temperature, I should say a low temperature of 67 degrees. And looking at the morning hours, this is that 12 right there, that represents roughly 7 in the morning. So that's going to be going around in towards the afternoon hours with temperatures rising into the upper 80s, showing that we're warming up throughout the day. And we can see that we have right here clouds, broken clouds, overcast clouds, partly cloudy clouds coming on in. So overall, it's a mixed day of sun and clouds with us noticing, oh, I lost my sensor. Sorry, 1 second. There we go. Okay. With us noticing this WDR right there, that's the winds coming in out of a southerly direction. 16, 17, 18, that's coming in out of a southerly direction. And so we're bringing more warmth, more moisture across our area. This is going on for today, tomorrow, and into Saturday's time frame as well. When we want to look at further data, say we're going to go out in towards, oh, come on, there we go. Why can't I click on that? There we go. Okay, so we're going to look out further, say the next several days. That's when we look at data right here called GFS, Global Forecasting System. That's the American model, and that gives us data for longer periods of time. So we're looking at the next several days. In fact, this goes all the way out in towards April 2nd, showing you the similar amount of data going on in highs, lows, the sky conditions. Do we see partly cloudy skies? Do we see big overcast clouds up above? Are we talking about rain potentially coming on in? And looking forward, I do see some rain chances coming on in here, but nothing big, nothing alarming. But that's one thing I look at, the GFS model. And there are various computer models that we can dive into. Now, I've looked at that data, I've looked at those numbers, I've written down some notes. Now, I go ahead and look at the big pictures, the imagery right here. And this is coming on in from one website I look at. We look at various websites. This is Tropical Tidbits, and we can certainly find ourselves looking at some nice colorful maps right here showing us a lot of information. But let's go ahead and simplify. Let's go ahead and get you just what you need to know. So I'm going to look forward in towards, say, this weekend. We have some changes coming on in this weekend. We have a cold front coming from Saturday into Sunday. How do we know that? Well, let's go ahead and move forward in time. Right now I'm looking at this number right here. Saturday, March 28th. That 12Z, that's in Zulu time. Don't have to worry about that, but 12Z pretty much is 7 a.m. for us here in Houston. I'm looking right here. Here is the Houston metro area, right down there. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight that. There's the Houston metro area. What I'm seeing right now, looking at, this is the surface analysis, so this is at our level right here in the atmosphere. We have an area of low pressure indicated by that L moving across Kansas and Nebraska. Here it is its cold front starting to push in towards eastern Texas. And as it does so, as we go through Saturday, that's going to introduce the chance for seeing scattered showers and thunderstorms as well. And when we go ahead and move forward in time, now we're looking out there towards Saturday night. This is coming on in for Saturday night's time frame, roughly about 7 p.m. We can see that cold front is now starting to push in across towards the Houston metro area. And this cold front's attached to the area of low pressure all the way up there in Iowa, so it's a very large system. But we're just watching that one cold front to come by. Just going to watch that cold front come on by and give us a chance for seeing scattered showers and thunderstorms by Saturday afternoon. Once that's done, though, we're going to watch our temperatures go down in the region. So I'm going to go ahead and look at, let's see, we have many regions to look from. Let's look in our region, South Central United States. And we can see right here, we can zoom in more detail, we can find right there going on. And I'm going to take a look at the temperatures, because that's what we want to know. When do we get some cool air to come on in? Because it's very warm, very muggy, very stuffy outside. Well, temperature-wise, as I look into Saturday's time frame, we have temperatures right in the Houston metro area in the mid to upper 70s in the morning hours earlier today. By the afternoon hours for Saturday, they're going to be going up into, say, 80 degrees or so. That cold front's right there. We can actually see the impact of the cold front on the temperatures. So that cold front is right there. Temperatures are dropping as the rain is falling, as it's bringing in cooler, drier air across our area. Now I move forward in towards Sunday morning. Now the cold front has passed. Temperatures across the area, 50s, 60s can be found for those morning temperatures on Sunday. And then by the afternoon hours, you want to get outside, you want to stretch your legs, walk around the neighborhood perhaps. We have those temperatures coming in the upper 70s to around the low 80s. So that's what that cold front did. It brought us those big time changes across our area. So that's definitely something good to look forward to, that we have some big changes coming our way. And thankfully, nothing in terms of strong to severe weather going to be coming on in with that cold front. How can we tell if we do have a chance for seeing some severe weather? Well, one of the things we look at, one of the websites we look at, comes on in from, got ahead of myself, the Storm Prediction Center. So this is also another group of meteorologists that are dedicated to looking at very powerful, damaging thunderstorms and the potential they have to impact portions of the country. And they are located in Norman, Oklahoma, right there, just south of Oklahoma City, so just to our north. And they can tell us right here for today that there was a chance for seeing some possible severe weather right there and across from Ohio all the way to Kansas. Do we have anything coming for us in here in southeastern Texas? Well, I'm gonna look forward in towards Friday's time frame. Nope, not yet. There is a chance for seeing some very weak thunderstorms right here across central Texas. More stronger thunderstorms can be found up across Kansas and towards Missouri. Now I'm gonna move forward in towards day number 3. And looking right here, let me go ahead and put the cities on there for you so you can see. So there's Houston. And Houston is just on the edge of that darker green highlighted area. And that is marginal, which is a small chance for seeing some possible severe weather as that cold front comes through. So if you live towards College Station, Huntsville, Bryan, for instance, you guys may see some stronger thunderstorms as that cold front comes through on Saturday afternoon, as opposed to, say, if you're in the Houston metro area, or you're in Galveston, or you're in Pearland or Katy, you guys may see some more weaker thunderstorms. And by stronger and weaker, I mean that we have a chance for seeing some hail, some big chunks of ice falling out of those thunderstorms, strong wind gusts that can blow items around, and there's also a possibility of some tornadic weather whenever you're talking about those stronger thunderstorms. But in this instance, for this weekend, it's a very low chance of seeing all those severe weather elements. For the most part, just maybe a thunderstorm that produces some strong wind and brings around some heavy rain, and then it makes its way out of the vicinity right there. So good news right there across our area. How do we go ahead and see this information with the folks at the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center? Well, for that, we look at a sounding. And a sounding shows us this information right here. This is a Skew T, and I'm going to show you a video in just a moment of what we talk about with this video, with this information. But this pretty much shows us a slice of the atmosphere looking from the ground all the way up in the atmosphere, telling us the temperatures, the dew points, the winds, and how it looks all throughout the afternoon, evening hours, or morning hours, whenever they release these balloons in the atmosphere. And those balloons, those weather balloons, carry a radiosonde. Radiosonde, it's an instrument that makes sure it records various levels of the atmosphere and transmits those measurements back to us here at the Surface Variety Radio. And you can see various pictures right here that I just Googled radiosonde, and I got these images right there showing us these large balloons attached to a box, and that box transmits information back towards the towers down at the surface, and all that information goes into computers, very large, powerful computers that take up an entire room, that also give us all that forecast data, so we can see things like this. And so we can see nice pretty maps like this, and we can look forward in time and see all that information measured out in time. So those computers take a lot of work to get all that information in. But what I want you to do right now is go ahead and go to YouTube. So everyone with me at home, go to YouTube and type in weather balloons and radiosondes. Go ahead and type in that address right there. I'll wait a little while for you guys to go ahead and do that. And I want you to play the video at home so you can go ahead and hear how it is. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up as well on my computer over here. Come on. Okay. So I can't play audio off of this, but that's why I wanted you to pull it onto your computer or your tablet or your phone at home, and then that way you can listen along with this video. All right, guys, so thank you for taking a look at that video. Hopefully you got some nice insight into what a radio sign is, how it's used, and how it's so important, so vital for our forecast as we go throughout our day-to-day operations here at KHOU Weather Center, as well as the other meteorologists around the country. So let's go ahead and we'll dive back into National Weather Service, for instance. We'll go back towards the beginning. National Weather Service showing us the information that they have so far, the latest information. 85 degrees, it's warm, it's a little on the muggy side. We have those dew points rising into the upper 60s. When it gets to the low 70s, it starts to feel a little sticky. And we have those winds still bringing in more warmth and more moisture coming in right off the Gulf of Mexico. So when we see how we have the temperatures, the dew points, the sky conditions, the winds, we take a look at all that information, put it together, and it gets us that 7-day forecast right there. Now, when we're looking out there towards the weekend, remember that cold front I was talking about? There it is, coming in the afternoon hours. We have temperatures afterwards cooling down into the upper 70s for those highs on Sunday. It's going to be less humid, much more comfortable. And then making your way into Monday, we do have another chance for seeing some rain come on in with another system coming our way. And it gets a little unsettled on Tuesday for a chance for some thunderstorms. But that's the forecast in a nutshell. And it does take a while, depending upon the day-to-day operations. You may have to talk about severe weather or tropical weather, say it's a hurricane. The forecast may take a little longer to work on, as opposed to just a sunny, warm, hot day like there today. But all of us meteorologists here, myself, meteorologist Blake Matthews, Erica Lopez, Cheetah Kraft, as well as Chief Meteorologist David Paul, all work very hard on this forecast every day to get you the latest information so you guys stay safe and sound. And I'll take any questions that anybody may have. I have Randy in my ear with us here. So Randy, let me know if we have any questions or any shout outs to anybody. Mm-hmm. Hi, Kiri. Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. Okay, so let's go back into, Kiri was asking me how many times weather balloons get released per day. And we go back to our computer system, showing you our browser, and there we go. Okay, go ahead and go back a page. Ah, wrong way. Whoopsie. Okay, so pretty much you get the chance for seeing those balloons released twice a day. One in the early morning hours, one in the early afternoon hours. Sometimes they release additional balloons. They're called special launches, and they are released during the middle of the day, say like the late morning hours around lunchtime. And those are usually done when we have a chance for seeing some possible severe weather. So it gets us the latest information. I forgot to mention that us here at KHOU don't launch the weather balloons. We see the National Weather Service launch those balloons, and various offices around the country where the National Weather Service's offices are, they launch the balloons and put that information into their forecast, and then we read that information on our own desktop. Let me try and see if I can get back to my system. Where did my Chrome go? Sorry, Randy, 1 second. Bear with me. Chrome, there we go. Okay, here we are. This is what I was trying to show Kieran. So here we are looking at here. These are the launches for the day so far and in towards yesterday. Yesterday, these are all the offices that launched balloons across the country. You can see all those stars right there indicating where there was a launch. That was in the morning hours, roughly around 6 a.m. yesterday. Then there was a special launch going on during the late morning hours. And then moving forward in towards the day today, we had a balloon launch and all these blue stars right there, roughly around 6 in the morning. And then we had one special launch that was going on out there near the Arizona-California border, roughly in the late morning hours. They had a special launch out there. But we'll be awaiting the next full round of launches to go on of balloons later on this afternoon. Yeah, Randy, you got another question for me? Mm-hmm. Hi, Crystal. Oh, sure. Mm-hmm. All right, so there are various locations you can get weather map information from. You can always go towards the National Weather Service, weather.gov, is one place to go. And that's where you can see the big map all across the country from the National Weather Service meteorologists. Also, you can go to our website, of course, you can't forget that. Okay. Oh, wait, whoops, they didn't go through. Whoopsie. So khou.com/weather is where you can go for our weather maps. And then this website I go to as well. This is one various website I look at, Tropical Tidbits. You can get various computer models, maps over there as well. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, hey Joaquin, thanks for watching. Yes, the weather balloons do come back down. They sometimes will travel several hundred miles away from where they were launched, and there is a package associated with that radiosonde to get it mailed back to the folks at the National Weather Service so they can take that information back and recycle the package. But we do see the chance for seeing those balloons come down, those packages to come down. I did see one video that I was looking at earlier on. Let's see, maybe I can try and briefly show you. Oh, just looking at it. All right, let me see if I can fast forward this. So there goes the balloon getting launched up in the atmosphere. Would help if I played it. And it gets carried by the winds aloft, and it gets transported all the way up. We're talking thousands upon thousands of miles up in the air. Do we see that weather balloon getting launched? And how it looks when it's coming on down. Let's see. Can't find the videos again. Anyway, but yes, it does go way up in the atmosphere, way past the clouds, all the way up into space. And that's when the balloon, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger because the pressure gets lower and lower, and then eventually pops. And that's when that radiosonde comes back down towards the Earth. And we got a chance for having it being retrieved by hopefully somebody if it's on land. And if it lands in the ocean, it can easily break down over time. All right, Randy. Mm-hmm. Sure. Oh, thank you so much, everybody. Hey, Crystal. Yes, thank you so much for watching, Crystal. Yes, the National Weather Service has those balloons funded since they are a government entity. It comes from the United States government, and the National Weather Service is a part of the branch of the Department of Commerce. So all the taxpayers that pay the taxes over the years, all that money goes towards the government, and then a portion of it gets down in towards the National Weather Service, and that's where they get the funds to launch those balloons twice a day. But that's why they try not do more than twice a day, because you only have so many balloons. You gotta save them for when we have severe weather or say another hurricane coming by. You wanna be able to launch multiple balloons when there's actually big weather going on. So that's why they have to conserve and can't launch them all the time. Mm-hmm. Sure. Mm-hmm. So Andrew was asking how far up in the atmosphere do those balloons launch before they pop? And they will go ahead and launch and be carried up aloft in the atmosphere well over, say, 34,000 feet. That's where the same level that a commercial jetliner, like an airplane that you fly in, it goes up towards that level and beyond. It keeps going past that point, but that's when, as the pressure, we have a lot of pressure down here at the surface, but the pressure is less and less as you go further and further up in the atmosphere. Hence the balloon gets bigger, bigger, and bigger. Well, eventually the balloon can only be stretched out so much, like a rubber band, can only be stretched out so much before it pops. And when it does that, it's already up above the Earth's atmosphere, and that's when that package will fall back down to Earth. Yes, agreed. Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining us here. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Weather Classroom. Thank you so much for joining us.